So now we're looking at reading a hypnogram, and we're basing this off a typical night's sleep for a young and healthy adult, and we'll get into the timing and whatnot of that because we're going to look at sleep across the lifespan. So there's some questions that will give you different hypnograms, and then you have to justify why it is that one. So I've given you some little cheat sheet notes here which basically answer these questions. So getting this table with the answers in will be really good to pop into your notes. So let's have a look at this and briefly describe the pattern and proportion of non-REM and REM in a typical night's sleep for an adult. So when we have a look at those sleep cycles here, so we can see one here where we go all the way down and back up to REM, all the way down, back up to REM. Oh, sorry. So I'll start again, slow it down. Okay, so we've got our hours of sleep across here. So it goes up to 8 hours of sleep. So that's normal for a healthy adult. And then here we've got the stages. And so it starts off that awake, goes all the way down here to 4. And then these are our REM periods across here. So how many cycles are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how many cycles usually occur? So for a healthy adult, it's going to be 4 to 6. Good. And then let's just talk about a couple of the other things that happen here. So does it alternate from REM to non-REM? Yes, it does, because the REM periods are here. We spoke about it just before in terms of that deep sleep in stage 4. Being in the earlier hours of the night, and see here it doesn't actually go back. After here it doesn't go back into 3 and 4 at all. So typical thing there. What else have we got here? Average duration per sleep cycle we know is 90 minutes. So we can see here, going for just over an hour roughly there, and then there. So they're not really long or too short, roughly 90 minutes. The typical start and end points there. So start point at the end of a REM period there, and then end point is at the next REM period. So we got start and end in that sleep cycle there. So the proportion of sleep spent in non-REM to REM. So if you have a look at this here, and you really won't be asked to use these numbers as such in too much detail, but look, it looks like it's approximately 20% REM and then 80% non-REM, so that's good. The sequences of sleep and the stages likely to occur, so we're always going to start being awake and go into stage 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and then it go back down to 3, 2, 1 to REM, and then as the night goes on we can see 3 and 4 being less and less prevalent. So what are some ways that REM periods change as the sleep night progresses? We know that REM gets longer as the night goes on, so you can see it's short there, gets a bit longer, gets a bit longer, gets a bit longer. We spoke about the pattern of non-REM sleep changing, so REM gets longer, whereas stage 3 and 4 of non-REM get shorter and not apparent there. And it's common to have 1 to 2 brief awakenings, so you wake up in the night and not even realise. So this one's got 2 there in those transitions between REM and non-REM.